Hey guys, how's it going? It's Devin here, and I hope you guys are doing well as usual. And for today, I'll be bringing you guys a new series where we do card reviews. So I'll be doing this series on the global server, where we take a look at all the cards for each of the sets. So for now, it's set 1, so we'll be taking a look at the RRs and the triple rare, and judge in terms of value whether you should invest in it or not, and how it works in the long run too. So without further ado, let's jump into some card revealing. So I'm just gonna start off with the double rare for RR Paladin. So firstly is Blaster Blade. So Blaster Blade is a top tier card and it is a good card, but whether you should invest your materials in it is another question, because you can get this card through the first season of rank rewards, and you can spend 50 of the medals to get the alternate art Blaster Blade. And how you get the medal is 1 pack equals 1 medal, so you need to open 50 packs to get Blaster Blade. And I don't think this is a card you should invest your material in it, but it is a card you should invest in it, not the materials but the card you should, because this card is gonna go a long way. Because right now, even in the Japan server, people are still playing this card because of MLB, and right now in the global server is set 1 and the Japan server is set 6, so there's a card that you should invest in it, but I would say don't invest your material in this card. So next we have High Dot Breeder Arcane. This is another card where you'll find yourself in a situation you don't have space for it. The effect is fine, but yeah, you just don't play this card because you don't have the space for it, and I'll give this a pass. Do not craft this. Next up we have Alfred Early. Alfred Early is a good card in the first season, but it will kind of die off in the second season where Galahad appear, because when you're playing Galahad, your soul won't have Blaster Blade. So this card would not be seen play on season 2. But when MLB is out, I don't think you want to play this card as well because you don't have slot for it. So I would say I'll give this a pass as well, but it is a good card on the first season. So in the end, it's still up to you whether you want to play this, whether you want to invest in this card or not. I would say invest it if you want to play RR Paladin on the first season, but in terms of value, you should not invest in it. Next up, we have the 13k attacker for RR Paladin. This is a really good card, and I would say do invest in it and try to get 4 copies of it, because I would say this is a card where you want to play 4 copies in all your RR Paladin deck, no matter the build of it, because it is a 13k attacker and the requirement is so easy, it's not even there, and you can make some magic numbers with it as well. So I'll give this a craft. So next up, we're going to take a look at the triple rares. And hold on, I'm just going to take a look if I missed any double rares from RP. And I did miss the PG. So as for PG, needless to say, PG is really good and really important in all your decks, but whether you should invest your materials in it, I would say no, unless you just need like 1 more copy. But if you want to like craft 2, 3 or 4 copies, do not waste your material in it, because you can get PG medal through your VP rewards, and you can get 2 PG medal per season, and 1 month have 2 seasons, so you can get 4 PG medal per month. So because of that, I would say do not invest your materials in it unless it's the last copy you need. Okay, so now let's go back to the triple rares. Triple rares, let's start off with King Online Alfred. King Online Alfred is a really good card on season 1 and season 2, but this card kind of die off when MLB is out because you don't really have the space for it again. So I feel like this card is a decent investment because it can last for 2 seasons. So I would say craft it if you are interested in RR Paladin. Next up we have Soul Saber Dryden. This is a good card, but I feel like it's not the greatest because you don't really need to run this card unless you have it. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a card where you need to run, but more of a one. So most decks don't require this card, but this card do help to strengthen your deck. But in terms of whether you want to spend your materials in it, I'll say it's a pass. Yeah, I'll give this a pass. You should only play this card when you have it, but you shouldn't waste your material on it. Next up, we have the most important card, Gunslot. So this is a card where you want to throw all your investment, your materials in it because you want to have 4 copies of this, and this card is in terms of value, it is insane. From set 1 all the way to MLB, you will still be playing this card. No matter what type of build you are playing in your RR Paladin deck, you do want to run 4 copies of this because firstly, it is a recyclable trigger, and secondly, you get to search a Blaster Blade from your deck, which is one of the most powerful double rare in RR Paladin. So I would say, yeah, I'll craft this. Needless to say, 4 copies. Next up, we have Oracle Think Tank, and we're gonna start off with the double rare. So PG, like I say, all the PG is pretty much the same, so I'm just gonna skip the rest of the PG. Next up, we have Maiden of Libra. This is a good card on the first season, but it will die off on season 2 where Full Moon Tsukuyomi is out because you don't have the space for it, and because it's Count Blast to draw a card, you don't really want to do that when you're using Full Moon, where Count Blast to draw 2 cards and return 1 card and put a card to your soul, and that's a better skill compared to this. And yeah, you just don't have space for this card, but for season 1 you do want to play this card, and I don't think that you need 4 copies of this. So whether you should invest on material, I would say no, it is a pass. Next up, we have Sakuya. This is a card where I feel like you can invest on it because this card is kind of like a Soul Saber. You can play it if you have it, but you shouldn't invest some material in it just because you want to play this card. It is a card where you want to put it in your deck just because you have it. And because it is a double rare and it's cheaper than Soul Saber, which is a triple rare, I would say go ahead and invest on this card. Next up, this is a good card on season 1, so this is pretty much the same situation as Maiden of Libra, where it will die off when season 2 is out. So I would say craft it if only you are interested in Oracle Think Tank on the season 1, but in terms of value, I'll give this a pass. Next up, we have the triple rare. First off, we have Coco. Coco is a good triple rare, but I won't invest my materials in it because it's not a must to play it, but if you have it, do make sure to put it in the deck, and I'll give this a pass. Next up, we have Silent Tom, which is most of the Oracle Think Tank deck win condition, and I'll say you should invest your material in this card because this card just win you games where opponent least expected, but you don't really need a playset of it, so I'll say try to have 2 or 3 copies of it, and I'll give this a yes for investment. Next up, we have CEO. CEO is a good card, and you kind of want to run 3 or 4 copies in all your Oracle Think Tank deck, but whether you should invest your materials in it is another question, because on season 3 rank awards, it is CEO, so you can get it for free, and I'll give this a pass because pretty much you can get it for free, and I rather you save your materials for the future set. But I'll say if you want to play Oracle Think Tank, like I said before, you can go ahead and craft it. Right, next up we have Kaigero. So let's start off with Berserk Dragon. Berserk Dragon is a really good card. It's kind of like Blaster Blade, but not really because it is retire grade 2 or less, and Blaster Blade is retire grade 2 and above. And I feel like this is a card you should invest some material in it because you want to run at least 3 or 4 copies in all your Kaigyo decks. So I'll say this is a card where you want to invest in. Even in the future, that will still be used for Berserk Dragon, so go ahead and craft it. Next up, we have Goku, which is a card that will die off on the next season as well, because when Eclipse and Waterfall is out, I don't think you want to play this card because you don't have space for it. And yeah, I'll give this a pass. Even right now, you want to play Kaigyo, this is still not the most important card because the most important card is actually in the triple rare triple R section, so I'll give this a pass. Next up, we have Dual X Arch Dragon, which is another 13k attacker that I would say you should invest in because you also want to run 4 copies in most of your Kaigyo deck, and in long term it is a good card as well, so I'll say you should invest in this card. Next up, this is a card where it's kind of in a similar situation as Goku. It will die off in the next season, so unless you really want to play this card on the first season, go ahead and craft it, but in terms of value, I'll say I'll give this a pass. Okay, next is the triple rares. So we're gonna start off with Dragonic Overlord. So this card is the same as Eo. It is a pretty high tier triple rare card where you want to have 4 copies of, but it is in the rank rewards on season 2. So whether you should craft it or not, I would say hold on to your materials, because I'd rather you save those materials to craft other important cards in the future than invest in a card where you can get it for free in like, I would say 2 weeks, a few weeks later. So I'll give this a pass, but don't get me wrong, this is a really amazing card where you want 4 copies of it. So unless you are really impatient and want to play this card right now, go ahead and do so, but in terms of value, I would say it's better off keeping your materials. Next up, we have Blazing Flare Dragon. Same situation as Goku, it will die off on the next season, so I'll give this a hard pass. And next we have Blockage, which is a good card in all the season because you can play 1, 2 or 3 copy. No matter, doesn't matter which era you are in, you still can play this card. So I would say invest in it. As you can see, I already have 3 copies. So I'll give this a yes on the investment. So next up, we are going to Novel Grapple. So we have Death Army Guide. I feel like this is a card you shouldn't invest in just because it is a grade 1 and it is not as important as the grade 2. So I'll give this a pass right now. Next we have Death Army Lady. So I feel like this is actually a little bit better than the Death Army Guide, just because it is a grade 2 and you can stand this unit when you check grade 3, and because you can stand this and it is in your front row, that means you can attack again compared to the grade 1. If you stand but your front row is not standing, that means it is a wasted stand. So I'll say you can invest on this, but I would say do not get a playset of it. Like, try to get 2 copies is enough. I would say 2 or 3 copies. Next we have Shidara. This is a good card in pretty much all Novel Grapple deck where you want to play 3 or 4 copies, and I'll say invest in it because right now the build you want to build for Novel Grapple is Ashura Kaiser, and Ashura Kaiser have no Counter Blast, so most of the time where you're going to use a Counter Blast is through this card. So I would say invest in this card and try to get a playset of it. Alright, next up is the triple rare. So let's take a look at Bruno Jack. So Bruno Jack is a good card on Season 1. It's a really good card because it is an 11k attacker and it is grade 2, that means it can intercept. So it's really good. But it kind of die off on Season 2 when Perfect Riser is out just because you don't have space for this card. So I'll say it is a card that you want to play if you have it, but you should not invest your materials in it, so I'll give this a pass. Because there is actually a lot of other cards you can play to replace this. So next up we have Ashura Kaiser, which is another god tier card, and you want to have a playset of this card, so I would say you should invest your material in it because this is your win condition and it is your main grade 3 Vanguard ride you want to go for. And even in the future, on set 2 or set 3 you will still want to run 4 copies, and it's just nice to have 4 copies of it. So I would say you should invest in this. And next up, I feel like this is the worst triple rare in this whole set, just because it is a 13k attacker and it is a triple rare that I would say you should not invest in right now. But if you have multiple copies of it, that's great, you can keep it because in the future, Cosmo Lot is going to get a cross ride. So that is where, in terms of value, this card is going to spike up. But for now, I would say do not invest in it. So yeah, we have pretty much come to the end of all the cards review. And I do hope you guys learn a lot in this video, whether you should invest on certain card or not. So yeah, this should be it. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for next video. Goodbye.